Hello, my dear students. Myself Dr. Jyoti Lahoti from Srimati LRT College of Commerce, Akola. Today we are studying the topic International Monetary Fund Solution for Financial Crisis. This topic is from the subject International Financing, MCOM 4th semester. So first of all, students, we defines as financial crisis. A financial crisis is any of a broad variety of situations in which some financial assets suddenly lose a large part of their nominal value. Other situations that are often called financial crises include stock market crashes and the bursting of other financial bubbles, currency crisis, and sovereign defaults. How does financial crisis occur? A financial crisis occurs when the value of financial institutions or assets drop rapidly. It often coincides with stock market crashes, banking panics, and investor assets withdrawals. This is due to the economic turmoil associated with the sharp drop in asset values. What happens in a global financial crisis? In a financial crisis, asset prices see a steep decline in value. Businesses and consumers are unable to pay their debts, and financial institutions experience liquidity shortages. A financial crisis may be limited to banks or spread throughout a single economy, the economy of a region, or economics worldwide. What are the stages of financial crisis? First stage, panic, fear, depression. Second, financial innovation and asset bubbles. Banking crisis, debt deflation. Third, financial arbitrage, boom and bust. Government bailout. And the fourth, government regulation, decline in business investment, hyperinflation. Now we see what are the types of financial crisis. This study reveals four types of financial crisis: banking crisis, speculative bubbles and market failures, international financial crisis, and broader economic crisis. Now we see what is the role of IMF in globalization. The IMF was established in 1945. The IMF has been called the world's financial crisis firefighter, relied on by member countries to deal with crippling sovereign debt and prevent contagion from spreading throughout the global financial system. The IMF's mandate includes facilitating the expansion and balanced growth of international trade, promoting exchange stability, and providing the opportunity for the orderly connection of countries' balance of payments problems. Now we see the objectives of IMF. The main objective of IMF, as noted in the Articles of Agreement, are as follows. First objective, international monetary cooperation. Then ensure exchange stability. Next, balance growth of trade. Next, eliminate exchange control. Then multilateral trade and payments. Then balance growth. And the last objective, correction of BOP maladjustments. Now, how the IMF really works? According to the IMF itself, it works to foster global growth and economic stability by providing policy advice and financing the members by working with developing nations to help them achieve macroeconomic stability and reduce poverty. The IMF's role was fundamentally altered by the floating exchange rates. The IMF assists countries hit by crisis by providing them financial support to create breathing room as they implement adjustment policies to restore economic stability and growth. It also provides precautionary financing to help prevent and ensure against crisis. Now, why is the IMF so important? We will see. IMF in full is International Monetary Fund. This is an organization charged with providing economic advice, support, and monitoring to its members' nations. It is primarily to ensure stability of the global monetary system, in turn, creating a safe environment for international trade. The IMF response to the global economic. The IMF responded to the global economic crisis by mobilizing resources on many fronts to support its members' countries. The IMF increased and deployed its lending firepower, used its cross country experience to offer policy solutions, and introduce reforms that better equipped it to respond to countries' needs. Creating a crisis firewall, stepping up crisis lending, helping the world's poorest, sharpening IFF analysis and policy advice, and next, reforming the IMF governance. Reforming the IMF's lending framework. We will see now. Credit line for strong performers, access to liquidity on flexible terms, reform terms for IMF lending, emphasis on social protection, crisis program review, helping the world's poorest, increased access to resources. Now we see the advantages of IMF. The first advantage of IMF is it encourages economic growth. It gives financial advice to countries about how to run their economics. Decisions about which countries may borrow money are made by rich countries. Poor countries have little say about loans and the conditions attached to them. The second advantage, its most important function, is its ability to provide loans to member nations in need of a bailout. The IMF can attach conditions to these loans, including prescribed economic policies, to which borrowing governments must comply. The third advantages of IMF is provides policy advice and financing to members in economic difficulties, and also works with developing nations to help them achieve macroeconomic stability and reduce poverty. Helping a country benefit from globalization while avoiding potential downsides is an important task for the IMF. The fourth advantages of IMF, the IMF provides broad support to low income countries through surveillance and capacity building activities, as well as concessional financial support to help them achieve, maintain, or restore a stable and sustainable macroeconomic position consistent with strong and durable poverty reduction and growth. Now we see the disadvantages of IMF. First disadvantage, high interest rates charged on its advantages are considered one of the major disadvantages of IMF. So, the debt servicing for the less developed countries is difficult. For example, since 1982, the interest charged for loans out of the ordinary resources of the fund is 6.6%. Second disadvantage, the major challenges faced by IMF include its governance structure, increasing level of politicians, leadership challenges, performance evaluation difficulties, and dealing with social instability. So these are the disadvantages of the IMF. Thank you. Thank you, students.